Good sailing today on a flat sea with a reasonable wind, not excessive. We got our friends Steve and Christy on board.
After 6 days in the Paros Harbor, Tom and I felt like we were growing barnacles. With our friends Steve and Christy on board and set to go, it was fantastic to be moving again. And we loved seeing very few boats here along the southern coast of these islands.
We are sailing by the island of Despitiko, and we are going to go up inside a channel right up in there between Despitiko and Andiparos, and find an anchorage for the night. It's been good sailing along here. We can get some gusty winds, like 15 to 18 knots, and no seas. So it's been pretty nice. It's kind of calmed down now, but lots of great rock features along the island here. And right up ahead of us, those tall cliffs there and jagged edges are part of the island of Andiparos. Depending on who you talk to, it's spelled with a T or a D, so Antiparos or Andiparos. Right south of the island of Paros that we were at for about 5 days, waiting out the end of a Meltemi. So good sailing today on a flat sea with a reasonable wind, not excessive. We got our friends Steve and Christy on board, and a double reefed main and a full jib. It's doing the trick for us today. Getting a little bit of a header. So the wind, these sort of peaks up here kind of shadow the wind a bit, and then we come into an area where the land is lower and the wind picks up, but it kind of swirls around and changes direction on you suddenly.
We first tried going into the bay formed by the southwest coast of Andiparos and the northeast coast of Despitiko. But the wind was incredibly strong here, so we backtracked to this tiny cove. It was too deep in the center of the harbor to safely drop our anchor, so we instead put the anchor near shore and pulled our boat away from the shore by tightening a stern line tied around a rock that was located across the cove near the other shoreline. It was wonderful being by ourselves after so many days in a very busy and crowded harbor. We swam in the incredibly clear water and enjoyed our own private beach while remaining oblivious to the high winds continuing to pound the northern shores of these Greek islands in the center of the Aegean Sea. We all agreed that a morning stop to swim through a rock tunnel on the southwest coast of Andiparos was the perfect way to start out the day.
In the open wild, catch a glimpse of Panama. We don't need a map. I'll let you know when we've
Refreshed after our swim, we settled in for the 15-mile sail to Iraqleia, the westernmost island that is part of a group of islands known as the Little Cyclades. We wouldn't stay on this side of the island overnight, but there is something special on the seafloor that we hope to locate as we snorkel in this plain and uninhabited cove. According to the website Naxos.gr, swimmers can see the wreckage of a German Arado AR-196 shipboard reconnaissance aircraft that sank during World War II. It is in about 9 meters of water. The plane sank after a German naval convoy sailing off Iraqleia was engaged by British warplanes. Locals from the village of Panagia, watching the fierce battle from afar, saw the seaplane come down and sink after a few minutes on the open sea. The crew were saved. Years later, the seaplane was caught in the nets of a local fisherman who pulled it close to shore. A buoy marks its position today, and it can easily be seen from the surface. Over the years, the wreckage has become a habitat hosting a rich variety of marine organisms. We picked the wide-open bay off of Levati Beach on the eastern side of Iraqleia to spend the night. And although we didn't get to shore that evening, our drone discovered a Hellenistic-era fort from around 320 BC atop the steep, round hill that sits right next to the beach.
You had me at hello, 'cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else.
Later, we enjoyed a moon just off the horizon, which was nearly full. What a day. In the morning, we walked to the adjacent and very small harbor of Agios Georgios, a quaint waterfront town made busy for just a few moments when the small ferry arrives and abruptly departs after having exchanged a few people in each direction.
Someday
Back on Sea Rose, we set off in the general westerly direction, but without any solid plans. The wind was perfect for a mellow, beam-reach sail, and we were comfortably moving along as we talked about a little bit of everything. We bypassed a couple options for lunch stops since we were all thoroughly enjoying the sail. In the early afternoon, we passed south of the island of Kato Koufonisi and discussed a couple options that might work for the night. No one had any strong opinions, so we kept moving. We rounded the northeast corner of the island and wiggled our way between it and nearby Ano Koufonisi.
I'm going to bastardize the name of this, but it's Kato Koufonisi, something like that. And just the regular Koufonisi is this island over here, which we checked out, but it's got a kind of a harbor that's downwind from the southerly winds right now. So we're gonna go over here and check out. They got all these sort of rock pinnacles, kind of haystacks, and 2 catamarans, a small powerboat in there. We're gonna check that out. Possible anchoring tonight.
With the anchor set, it's time to snorkel.
'Cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too. You can ride all the blue. I wanna do what you want to. We can leave and run away someday, someday. I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it, don't you need me too? 'Cause I need you. Yeah, so call me anytime that you need a favor. Call me anytime I can come and sit in you. Oh, oh. you anywhere, somewhere. We won't be scared. You will see me flying high, or staring into your blue eyes. We don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too. I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it, don't you need me too? 'Cause I need you. Yeah, so call me anytime that you need a favor. Call me anytime I can come and save you. Oh, oh. Call me anytime that you need a friend, and call me anytime when you're out of time. And you, I got you. You got me, got me. You got me, got me. You got me too. Got me, got me. I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it, don't you need it too? 'Cause I got you, and you got me too.
All right, we are up early this morning. We're leaving Kato Koufonisi in the Small Cyclades Islands. We had a great visit here yesterday. It was one of those places where you sort of stumble upon, you look around the corner and you say, hey, how about we go over there? A wonderful stop, one of those surprises that wasn't written up in Navigly or our cruising guide, and we just saw a couple boats over there, so we checked it out, and I think it's like one of the highlights of the whole summer. Just amazing natural beauty. These islands seem to have lots of geological features, a lot of rippling layers in the rock that you can see kind of folded underneath and crossed over and angled up out of the ocean. So it's really great sightseeing for that, and something we really didn't know and didn't expect to see. So that was great. We are motoring over to Naxos today. We're gonna find an anchorage on the southern part of Naxos, and then we're all gonna jump in a bus or a taxi and head up to the town of Naxos. That is where Steve and Christy are gonna take a ferry back to Athens later today, and we're gonna be tourists around Naxos, which is gonna be a lot of fun. Karen and I haven't been there since 27 years ago on our honeymoon, and it wasn't looking like we were going to make it to Naxos because of the winds, and that harbor is not very easy at all to get your own boat into. So we were planning on skipping Naxos, but this is a little surprise. This is the island of Naxos straight ahead of us. We're going to go around there and around the corner. You can see the light coming up, sort of pinkish purple hue of light coming up on the island. So Small Cyclades, well worth a visit. Very uncrowded in this area, partly because we're here a little late in the season, but I have a feeling this doesn't get nearly as busy as other parts of the Greek islands. Alright, so we're approaching this little cove in Naxos, on sort of the southwestern part of Naxos, and the building up here is an abandoned resort development. And we're going to try to find a place to anchor here and get ashore and find a taxi up to Naxos. Not a lot here. It's like a little kind of resort village over there too. Challenge here is just trying to find a taxi from here to Naxos. Alright, so we made it to the beach at a place called Pragaki, and there's a little resort behind me here and a taverna on the other side over here, and we found the bus stop to Naxos, but it doesn't come for another 2 hours or so we're trying to see if we can get a taxi to come and meet us here. The calls we made earlier, they didn't really speak very good English, and we didn't really know quite how to explain where we were to be picked up, so we'll see if this has any more luck, but in the meantime it's a really great view from here. Awesome little resort with beach beds out here, looking out, a single boat out of the anchorage. And we're tucked in around the corner over there. This looks like a pretty sweet place. Far away, you get your resort hotel, your standard taverna, and they got a little restaurant area. Saw some people eating breakfast earlier. But very peaceful here.
The resort called us a taxi, and as we waited, Tom and I decided to book a room to celebrate our recently passed anniversary on shore. We got to the old town of Naxos and kissed at one intersection we remembered from 27 years ago. After a lunch with Steve and Christy and a quick walk around the town, Tom and I jumped back into the taxi, got to the boat, packed for a night on shore, moved the boat around the corner so we could see it from the resort, then headed in for our anniversary celebration. How wonderfully relaxing and romantic. Please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notified of new videos. Join us next time.
We're at the dock in Eos. We arrived yesterday. And
We move on to the final Cyclade island that we will visit this summer, Amorgos, before transitioning into the Greek Dodecanese island group. Don't miss it! Thanks for watching!